Dusk is falling and the lights are now lit on a small station somewhere on the southern region of British Railways. I said in a previous video that I don't run trains after dark. Well, I may have changed my mind. Maybe it's the child in me, but there's something magical about trains running in the dark, and I find it rather fascinating. I have been playing around for a while now, fitting lights to some coaches, a diesel loco, and finally station buildings and lamps on my layout. Later in the video there will be some running shots in various degrees of darkness, but first a look at how I lit the station. My layout is very small, and to help maintain my interest in it, all the buildings are removable to enable me to quickly change the region and/or time period. Therefore, the lighting could not be fixed to the baseboard but must be removable with the buildings. An early decision was therefore taken to power the lighting by battery, and the first building to be tackled was the signal box. As it had already been built, and appeared on my Midhurst and Lisses Moor layouts, it was first necessary to deconstruct it in order to add the lighting. A false ceiling was fitted and an LED glued to it. Wires from the LED were glued to the back wall and fed down through the floor. They were later painted cream to match the wall colour, so they can't be seen from the outside. The LED is powered by a 3-volt CR2032 battery, housed in a battery holder with integral on-off switch, obtained from Layouts for You. There was already a hole in the platform where the signal box had previously been located, so the battery is simply slid through that hole and laid on its side beneath the platform surface. As it is not fixed, it can easily be accessed to turn the LED on or off, or to remove the building completely. The platform lights were purchased from Layouts for You, and they come with resistors attached for use on 12 volts DC. I wanted my lights to be A, removable, and B, really dull, so I left the resistors attached and powered the lights by 3 volts using the same batteries and holders as in the signal box. The lights, together in this case with the new running inboard, are all mounted on removable sub-bases. They are fitted to the platforms in exactly the same way as the signal box described earlier. I wanted the building lights to be warm in colour and not too bright to give what I felt would be an old-fashioned effect. I therefore used amber LEDs which give a nice warm glow, though whether the signalman can actually see what he's doing is another matter. The platform shelter was also lit with one amber LED with the battery box hidden under the roof. As the station building is somewhat larger, it was lit with 3 amber LEDs wired up in a similar way to the signal box. In my humble opinion, building and platform lights on far too many model railway layouts are just too bright and unrealistic. I wanted mine to be duller, more subdued, and therefore hopefully more realistic. The following shots will show if I have achieved that objective. Filming in the near darkness of my garage has proved to be much more difficult than I expected, and a lot of the shots initially look rather dark. I have found it best to view the video on a widescreen TV or laptop, preferably with the curtains drawn. The first section shows the layout lit for early dusk, or maybe for a bright moonlit night. You decide. My layout runs on 12 volts DC, and so I have therefore elected to power the LEDs in the coaches by battery. The advantages of battery power are that the lights stay on when the train stops at a station, and also don't flicker when the train is in motion. The LEDs used are warm white in colour. I think this section shows the light shining from the carriage windows onto the platforms to be too bright, but it has been included in the video to act as a contrast to the next part. This section is supposed to represent a slightly darker time of night, and I have adjusted the camera settings to give a better impression of what the human eye actually sees. The lighting is more subtle, the back scene less obvious, and the pools of light beneath the lamps, I think, are just right. Back in the 1960s, away from the main towns, stations and station platforms could often be quite dim and dark places. It is, however, difficult to make out the steam locos, but they are there. Maybe some firebox glow for my next project? The interiors of the Mark I coaches show up rather well in these shots and are not too bright. Finally, some running shots showing a couple of suburban coaches being hauled by my trusty old Terrier Tank, although you can hardly see it, and some more of my Class 33 and its train of Mark I coaches passing through non-stop. I think two trains passing in the station after dark is exactly the sort of thing I was after when I started this project. Magic. But what do you think of my lighting attempts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. But that's all for now. See you next time.